What's up, YouTube? I've been asked to create a how-to video on how to script a pyro musical using Pyro Ignition Control and with my WPS firing system. Uh, I've been using it for 3 or 4 years now. It seems to be working really well for me. I have had zero issues with it. I have the WPS Pro Pack, which is the Pro module, which has 12 banks, and then for each bank you get a slat, which is 12 cues per slat. So you have a total of 144 possible cues with the Pro Pack system. You can wire it up however you want. It's crazy the amount of custom wiring that you can get into with it. You can use splitters, all that type of stuff. So it's a really great system, and price per cue, you can't hardly beat it. It's unreal of how little amount of money that you have to pay for this type of system. I think it's going for basically a £1,000, and after shipping and so shipping and the conversion dollars to pounds, you're probably looking at $1,200 to $1,300. So that's what, less than $10 a cue. So it's very affordable considering a similar Cobra system with 144 cues. You're looking at 2,500 or more at least. So it's it's a great system. I love it. I've had zero issues with it. Trying to get other people to use this, but you know, make your own determination. So I'm going to try to break this video down into a couple different segments. First, starting with audio. So first thing you have to do with a pyro musical, at least what I do, is start out with my songs. So I usually try to pick anywhere from 5 to 6 songs. I also try and build in a little snippet at the beginning, like a countdown, so that you have that little built-in time. Unlike last year, I didn't do that and kind of screwed myself in that I had a firing like first couple 2 or 3 seconds into the first song. The problem is that I didn't build in time up front and have a little snippet, a countdown, and I had to actually modify a, a duration and fuse it lower than I really wanted to, because I had a negative time scenario. So I'll show you that when we get into it. But yeah, first thing I wanted to start out with was audio, and then we can get into the actual, once we do the audio, then we get into the actual loading of the database of the PyroIgnitionControl. And then once we get that, then we do the scripting, get into the scripting piece of it. I also have some spreadsheets that I kind of use to kind of keep control of my product, even though there is a function within PyroIgnitionControl to keep track of your product. It could be better, but for freeware, can't beat it. And then once we have that, the scripting, and then I might be able to pull out the remote control and kind of show you how to give control and kind of how I set up my system for an actual firing. So we'll start into that. Okay, the first thing that I do is import all my music into Audacity. Let's see here. So here I have my music that I selected. For this demonstration, I'm only going to use, this is my 2019 music list. All I'm going to do is look at maybe just a couple of them. So what I do is import audio into Audacity. It's a free program, so you just download it. So it imports. So it looks something like this, and then you'll want to do import again, and you just, like this song here. So just start stacking them up. And what you're going to need to do is use this time shift tool. And what you'll want to do is move it over here. See how the little yellow line lit up? That knows that you, so then that knows that it's at the end. You can come in here and chop it up and do whatever you want. You don't have to stick with the same with the same thing. You can, there's tons of online videos on how to chop up music. You know, if you only wanted this section in here, you know, and you wanted to chop off that, you know, I think you can go something like this and cut. Oops. So yeah, I mean, you can select it, cut it, and I'll chop it out. So yeah, so then you can come back and move that back here. So so yeah, so that's what, let's move that back. Come on, you can do it. I'm working on an old PC, so you have, you know. So anyway, so that's how you kind of chop up the songs or whatever you want. You can just keep light, you know, I do anywhere from 5 to 6 songs. Like I said in the intro, and what I had in the first year was in 2018, I actually added in a countdown so that I don't have, so I did this 10-second countdown, and I added that to my beginning, so it just, so yeah, there's a countdown for you, which is nice, so that you can kind of start out easy, and then it gets into your actual song. So I suggest going on YouTube and finding a countdown, or make your own, just audio or something like that, and add it into the beginning so that you don't have a negative fire scenario like I did last year and have to redo things. So anyway, so that's how you do it. Just, and then what you'll want to do is export as an MP3, and you know, I'll create a new folder here as so that you know, whoops, there we go. And then you can name it anything you want. So I usually name it like 2020 something like that. 2020 fireworks songs. It's an MP3 and you just save it. So that's, yeah. So then you just, okay. So then it exports it and saves it all as one continuous file. And again, you don't want kind of this space here. I mean, you can add a space, and so that kind of gives, you know, a few seconds. I wouldn't make it this long, but you can make it have a couple, you know, seconds in between songs if you don't want to ramp something up right away. Kind of clear the air a little bit, let people applaud, whatever, whatever you like. So that's kind of what you do. You just export it and save it as an MP3. So that's what you do with that. Alright, the next step that you want to do in creating your Pyro musical is open PyroIgnitionControl. Again, you can get it on the WPS website and just download it. It's free. So it looks something like this. What you'll want to first do is, and this is if you have nothing, you just downloaded it, you'll want to open up your effects database. And this is probably the most time consuming. As you can see, I've built up my database throughout the years. Basically, you'll want to add in all your fireworks that you have for the year. I don't fill out every single one of these, but you know, you want to get as descriptive as you can. Like this one, the Gold Bro Code Bash. I put a category because I do have different categories. You know, I want to know if it's a fan or a cake, Roman candle, fountains, mortars, zipper cakes, different things. Like last year, I sliced the cake, so I kind of just opened up the box, kind of cut some of the wicks. So it didn't like just daisy chain all the way through it, and that way I could just fire off one slice of the cake. So that, you know, it was it's a 7-shot for that one. So one slice of the cake was 7 shots, and I had 2 boxes, so and it looks like they were 7 each. So I had 14 total of those one slice. So. And you can put a delay on them. Most of my cakes I put as like a 3-second delay, so from the time that it hits to the time that I see, actual the explosion in the air, it's approximately 3 seconds. You know, some cakes are a little faster, some cakes are a little slower. But through my, you know, testing and stuff like that, you know, I did some tests, especially, you know, just throughout the years, kind of just settled on 3 seconds. So that's pretty much what I set my delay up to, is 3 seconds. Here, the duration, what I do is I go on the YouTube, or you know, there's a wiki, fireworks wiki, that has a lot of these fireworks online and with videos. And what I'll do is, you know, sit down and watch the video and find out how long it actually took. From year to year, it can change a little bit, but for the most part, they stay pretty much the same. And for a pyro musical, especially if you want like some dead air in the middle or something like that, a little bit of dead air could kind of clear the air. The song kind of goes down a little bit. you wanna know your duration so that you can have all the fireworks stop at one time. So that's what I kind of. So you'll need to go through and whatever you have, as far as your, and you can leave these from year to year, which is nice. And then just when you check it out, it'll change your stock, the amount that you have in stock, to whatever you used in your show. So that's kind of nice. I used to not check out a show, but I used it last year and it seemed to work pretty nice. And so yeah, so this year I'll just have to go back through and add how many ever I have in my, I'll probably set all these to 0 and then go through once I place my order for fireworks. Then I'll go through and start changing my stock of how many I have in stock to whatever I have. So again, this is going to be your biggest consumer of time, just to get this set up. But then once you get it set up that first year, you're kind of good to go. You can add, I think last year we added a few, like the slice. I already had the rock on up above, but then I added just as a slice cake. So you add it real quick. You can just go over here and hit the add. Oops. So yeah. So sorry. You just type in whatever category. Oops. I can't type today. Category like a 200 grand, and these are all free form, so you can put in whatever you want. I try to keep them all OCD, and I keep them all the same. The effect, you can put in the effect there, but my category, I guess I could have done like 200 gram, and then the effect was the cake, or however. 30 seconds. My delay is 3 seconds. Shots 40. You don't have to put that. You don't have to put price unless you want to. And then I have 5 of these, and then you hit add. So there it is. So there's my new firework. Obviously you can trash it, and it's gone. So if you want to modify something, like here, I'm going to put 0, press this middle button, and it updates it. So that's how you update things. So anyway, so that's kind of what I have there. So that's kind of the database portion. So what I usually do is start out, and this is your music area. So we can grab our 2020 fireworks that we created in Audacity. So this shows you that big space that I had. What you'll want to do is zoom all the way in, and then you can start playing it, and it'll start. If I would have done it a little bit better, let me go back into my 2018. Let's import the 2018 because it had that. It was a little bit better. So here's my 2018 songs, and it imports it, and then you just zoom in, and so there's that countdown that I was talking about earlier. So that way, I have a 3-second delay. If I would have had something that needed to fire off in the first 2 seconds of the show, obviously I couldn't. I have that negative firing scenario, and that's what I had last year. But I was able to, luckily, move down the talons on my mortar, and I normally set up the talons at the top of the mortar tubes, and so this way I was able to get around that and just move the talon down further toward the bottom and fire them off that way. So so here you have your song. Again, my countdown, I don't want anything. So then I get, so then hopefully YouTube doesn't flag me for infringing on. So yeah, so right here I probably, you know, it's a fast hitting song. So normally what I like to do is have a softer opening, or a softer opening song, kind of a lull for maybe 20 seconds, and then hit them. So sometimes I'll like to hit maybe some little fountains in the front, and then maybe, you know, then really blast them. But I think on this one I went off and just blasted them right away with a song. So right here I'd probably, you know, slap in some mortars. And so what you're going to do is you're going to add one. And so so the channel is going to be basically your modules. So I have the Pro Pack, which is the first module, and then I have two minis. So I have them set up as channel 2 and channel 3. So let's, for simplicity, let's just stick with the first one. So your output, your A bank is going to be 1 through 12, because that's going to be your slat A. A1 is going to be your bank A, and your very first one is going to be 1. So channel 1, A bank, and that's going to be 1 through 12. Your B bank is going to start 13 through 24. Your C bank is 25 through 36, and then, you know, and so on and so on. So every 12 is going to be a different bank. So that's how that kind of goes. So normally I have set up my A. So I'll show you kind of. I create a couple different spreadsheets, and what I do is kind of Excel will open. Probably doesn't want to open too while I have a screen scrape going on. Like I said, this is an old computer and we're working through it. So what I normally do is lay out how. Yes, okay. Ugh. Accept. Okay. Come on. Anyway, so what I normally do is lay out, and I've done it year after year after year, is kind of set up this spreadsheet, and at the beginning of the year, or beginning of this process, I highlight these all as no fill. So all these will be no fill, but I know that I'm going to have 3 main pods. So I have my left, my middle, and my right, and those are all cakes. And then I'll have all my, so this is going to be bank A, B, C, D, E, F, as it coincides with your up here. And so this is how I have set up things. And what I do is then, so let's say that for my opening I want to blast off some mortars, and then I want to have all three cakes go off at the same time. So I'm going to have basically A1, D, D1, and G1, and also this mortar. And what I normally do is I have a fan mortar, and I tie all three together. Tie the mortars all together, and so I'll have 3 mortars going off at once with just one cue. So I basically twist 3 talons together and fire off 3 different mortars. So to do that, we'll go back here, and so we want our channel 1, output 1, and what we want to do is go in here and let's just say it's the Broco bash, and that's the one that we want. So we just select it. So, and then what I usually do is put a little description in here, and I think I put like left. Oh yeah, so this is going to be my left side. So I kind of group these. Sorry. So I'll kind of group like these 3 together. So I'll say like left, middle, and right, like I did here. And this way, this description will help you when you go to export this like into Excel. And then what I normally do is then put things into a spreadsheet and then do a mail merge, and then I put them to labels, and this description will help when you label things. And then when you get out to the field, you know, a lot of times I buy these Pro Packs, and so everything's mixed up. And so this way, I pull out the firework and I see, oh, it's left, or left 1, or something like that. You know, I can put left 1, and I know that that's going to go to it's going to go onto the left side, and it's going to go to the first bank, go to A, or I can put like left A, something like that. So that's what you want to kind of do, and then you just save it. And so it shows here the firework. This is kind of nice. I put the 12 shots, so it shows 12 shots, and it'll show each time that it's hit. And then right here, as you can see, it builds in that 3-second delay. So there's your delay. So it's the gray part, and then it's going to hit right there is your first one that's going to hit. So it shows you here the ignition time of 15 seconds, and then the break time of 18 seconds it's going to break. So that's what your delay. That's that 3-second delay, and then your description. So let me just add. So we also wanted. Sorry. So what you can do is also, if you real easy one is paste. If you want them all at the same time, so you don't have to kind of mess with the timing, and you can go in here and adjust, and it'll type in whatever you want. But then go in Air Force One, and then you need to change. We need to change it to, it's going to be the middle, so it's going to be 37. So you want to change this here to 37. And then this is going to be middle 1 or middle whatever you want to name them. But again, it's going to help you down the long run, naming them all the same. Save that, copy, paste. So then we want, go over here, let's do the hot. And again, you probably want to make sure they're all about the same size, same duration. That way they all end about the same. I'm just kind of quickly going through this. But here we want it on the right side, so that's going to be 73. So I'll change my output to 73. Come down here. Yeah, and that's going to be my right one or right A, B. You can name it whatever you want, but sometimes I just put right one. So that, not the greatest grouping of fireworks together, but you can do that. And then we'll want to add a mortar. So we'll come down here. No, I got them down here. So my 5-inch super shells, I love those. They're very similar to the Excaliburs, but I really like them. They really hit pretty good. And we got 109 is my first mortar. So there. So this one, like I said, I normally have a little bit longer delay since I tend to go a little higher up. So yeah, so there. So here we have everything firing off all at the very first. We have, oh, I need to add a mortar. So there we go. So that's our fireworks. Kind of how you go through and script it. Again, it's your own personal preference on how you want to script it. You know, like here, I would probably have everything ending about right here. Kind of have a little lull. Let's kind of hear this. See how it kind of goes down. And so I'd kind of build it up a little bit, build it up, maybe have some front stuff, and then hit them right there. So then I would, you know, probably add in some more mortars and, you know, fire it up again like we did here at the beginning. So that's kind of how you want to go about this, and you just do this for every single song. You know, that's how you kind of go about it. So there's that piece. Okay, once you have your everything done here, you can go in here. You can check your show. So the shortest delay between two ignitions is 0 seconds. It'll give you anything if you reuse. So let's say we reused the one 37. So if we reuse it, we go in here, show, check show. So it tells you, it's giving you a little warning there saying 37 is being used by a couple times. So there are some checks and balances. So that way you can go in and fix things. But like I said, I try to keep things here, and then, you know, as I work through them, I kind of go through and like we had before, kind of highlight these, and then the 109 was being used. So that that gives me a heads up. You know, it's just for my own sanity, because I was getting a lot of those warning messages. So I just copy these over from year to year. Like here we have Roman candles and fountains, and there's my mini modules that I use. So this is my module 1, module 2, module 3. So that's the Pro pack, and then my minis that I have. So that's, you can do that check show. Here's the checkout show, and that will update your database. That'll update your database. So like we have one, you know, these are all one in stock. If I check out the show, and then we apply the changes. Now these are set to 0, as you can see. So that's how you check out your show. and it'll tell you if you've checked out more than, it'll give you an error if you checked out more than what you have. So let's say you used, you only had one bro code bash, and you used 2 of them in your show. It'll, when you go to check it out, it'll just tell you, hey, you used too many, and you don't have enough. So that's how that's done. So it is very helpful to do that type of stuff. So you want to save your project, because you're actually going to be firing it from this page. I'm waiting for my batteries to charge on my remote and everything else, so kind of stalling right now. You can jump and show, get into that. I mean, it's not super hard software, but that's kind of how we go about all that. Oh, there is generate report. This is very helpful if you want to create labels, or just get an overall so here you can see I have 2 reports for 2018. We'll just come down here to test report, and then we save it. Oh, it already popped up. So yeah, here's, so this shows you, it's a ton of information, and I'll show you my 2019 report of a lot bigger script. But here it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. This is your first module, and here's your output, the number, the ignition time, when it's going to break. You don't really need this, but here's your description, and that'll help for when setting things up. And then the product ID or name. So, but here's like your label report. So there's other things here. It gets pretty involved, but the label report is really, really nice. But here is where I usually sort. I'll go ahead and sort things by data. Oops. Actually, I want to sort it by, let me back up here. So I want to sort by my headers, sort by output. Okay. Yes. So here it sorts by output. So if we had done this all, I would probably add like another column in here. And so we're going to have like A, you know, I would change these to A. And that way I know this is going to bank A. This was D. I think this was G. And who knows what that one was. J. So I would change those to J, and it's a lot easier once you get all of these filled out. Now you just do A 1 through 12, B 1 through 12, and again I would probably put another insert, you know, Q. I would do like Q, and so this is going to be 1, so it's going to be A1, and then I would just do a 1 through 12 for all my A's. You know, this is going to be 1, so that I know once I get to the field, I know that this is going to be slat D or bank D, whatever you want to call it, and that's going to be the first Q on that slat. So, even though it's output 37, that's more of internal to the program, PyroIgnitionControl. That's what that needs to know. But what you need to know in the field is that's going to be a D1. And it's, and for... So let me show you a little bit bigger one. And so this is what it kind of shows you. And here this is what I did with this one. I added, a slat. You can change these titles to whatever you want, but this is what I use. So here's channel 1 output. There's your output. There's your position. You can move these all around whatever way that you like, but here's my slat A, and then I just copied it down and made so 1 through 12, and then copy it 1 through 12 down, boom. You have 1, you have the amount. So like my mortars, when I get down here to my super shells, I know that I'm twisting 3 of these together. So I know that I'm doing three of those together. I even added a Pro pack because, like I said earlier, when I order these Pro packs from Victory Fireworks, everything's a jumbled mess. So this helps me out know that for this first label, I need to go to Pro Pack 19. So this one is in Pro Pack 1. So basically the box, when I'm pulling fireworks out of these boxes, I know go to Pro Pack 1, and I'll find, when I have my label up, I go to Pro Pack 1, find it, slap it on the firework. So, here's just different screens. So here's your mortars, your middle one, right one. So this kind of breaks it down, and it's a ton of information for you. Again, here's the label report. I tend to stick with, apparently I stick with the show script. Let's go back to the other one. Let's go back to this one. So show script here. So yeah. So I think I changed this to this slave to slat or whatever. You can do whatever you want, but so then what I do is then mail merge them into, let's see, maybe I didn't do it there. So merge labels. Sometimes mail merge doesn't like to pop back up, so if it doesn't show you exactly what I normally see. So we'll see. So like I said, there's tons of how-tos, but yeah, here's kind of what I do for my labels. This is only one page of them, but so this really helps me. Here's for like what box, the Genesis box. These aren't too bad once you, for the boxes that just have the one product in it. But when you get into like the Pro packs and stuff like that, it's a jumbled mess. So this tells me that fire, that I need to look for Pro Pack 1 or Pro Pack 10 or whatever to go to that box, and for this label, do that. And then position is when you get to the field, position, okay, I'm going to go to my right cake or my left cake. So I know, in 2018 apparently I didn't do like cake 1 or cake 2 or cake, right cake 1, right cake 2, right cake 3, which probably been helpful. So I learned to number those as well.
since I have multiple slats on each pod. So then I know here's my slat, again also in the field. When you're wiring it up, you know, to go to slat H, Q8, so go to your H slat, and then in the 8th slot, then you're wiring that up. And here's the product name. So that's basically, I just do a mail merge. There's plenty of online videos of how to do a mail merge, so I'm not going to review that in this. But that's how you go about doing that. So create labels, slap them on there, slap them on your fireworks, and that way you're good to go with when you get to the field and you got 200 some odd fireworks or whatever you have, to be able to quickly and organize and put them out into the field. So yeah.
Okay, so we've gone through the process of selecting the music, putting them in, importing them into Audacity, creating our MP3 to then import into PyroIgnitionControl. We've gone through adding things to the database, scripting, gone through all the scripting, exporting your report, creating, we created a spreadsheet that did everything, showed us everything that we had for our show. Now, I'm going to try and review how to kind of set everything up. I don't have everything out. There's other pieces to this puzzle in the garage. I have them in a box and they're kind of buried, so I'm not going to be able to show you everything that you need to do. But I got some main pieces here. So what we need to do, you're obviously going to take your laptop with the PyroIgnitionControl ready to rock, your show ready to rock. What I normally do is you'll have your box. This one I have set up as 24 volts. I've got two 12-volt batteries in here, wired up to be 24 volts. I've got it on a charger right now, 24-volt charger. So it's charging because it sits upstairs here for most of the year. So got it charging. Got it on. You can go through the different modes here. So we can run a test. So I found one queue. So this is actually a queue as well. Normally you would have your ABC, you'd have these Cat 5 cables out. So here it's showing I do have one Talon hooked up. So normally it shows, on a normal show I'd have all these hooked up with Cat 5 cables. So yeah, but it comes in a real nice case. But yeah, there's that. But yeah, for demonstration purposes, I just hooked it up to this little bank right here. I never use it other than right now. So, but you can go back and pretty much you'll have the same thing with, you can see the same type of stuff with your remote, which we could do right here, do the test mode, and it's showing one channel and showing that one. So here you have your bank A. It's the same as on here. So you can load scripts. I never do that. I just fire right out of PyroIgnitionControl, so I'm not 100% versed on how to do that. Here it shows we're on version 2.5.
Um, so I don't know if you can see that. So it's on version 2.5. I'll go back up here. I don't know if you're able to see that test. So yeah, it shows bank A, the 1Q. Again, that's that one that we showed there. Sorry about the lighting, it's pretty bad in here, but yeah, I had the one Talon. But yeah, I just charge it here. I know the newer ones are coming with LiPo batteries. I have the lead acid, got it off of eBay for dirt cheap. They're basically what you put into like the power wheels and stuff like that, so they're fairly small and they fit right in there. So let's see. So yeah, you get to the field. You go through your checkpoints, but let me come back out of here. So the very first, this is not 100%. I don't like how they have this set up. My very first year of using this, I spent probably 10-15 minutes or more with 30, 40 people ready to rock and roll, and I forgot to hit PC control. And that basically sends the control from the remote to the PC. Nothing will work. You can't arm your software. So, see, it says failed to open COM port 3. Please verify port settings. Nothing will work. So, everything, fails. I rebooted the PC several times. I was like, what am I doing wrong? I couldn't figure it out. Finally, then I remembered, highly inebriated. Finally remembered, you got to hit PC control, and you just do that. You scroll down to PC control, and then you hit that, and then you come over here, connect. In your settings, you go to connect. Now it says PC control connected. That's what you want to see. That allows the USB cable in here, and now they're talking together. So that's great. So now you want to twist, or you can say ARM software. Okay, so yeah, that's what I thought. You gotta switch it to. Well, I think what we want to do, I think you can. Could have swore there. Check show maybe. I could have swore there was a option in here to check it. I mean, what I normally do is just do that check that I did before, and it checks that, checks that everything is so anyway, what you want to do is turn this to fire, and this is the one issue that I have. Mine, it's a very minor issue, but my little thing here after the last couple of years twists, so I kind of got to hold, and it's kind of tough holding a camera and also twisting that. So, but yeah, now it's in the fire position. So now we can arm our software. And I'm not going to start the show, but that's everything. All you have to do is hit start show, hit that, start show, and it'll fire it off. It'll start it from the beginning and fire everything. Actually, I could probably start it. So you can pause it, whatever.
But yeah, it's ready to rock, and it's going to fire that Talon, but I'm not going to do that here in the house. So that's all you have to do. You hit one button and it fires it. And it goes through, and you can see they're green right now. As it fires, it'll turn as it fires the Talon, it's in yellow. And then when it gets to this point right here, it'll turn to red. And then once the firework is done, your duration is done, it goes to a gray color. So it'll just start stepping its way down. It'll just work its way down. You can watch it as you go through. It's kind of fun to watch it. But yeah, then you just sit back and watch the show. So that's really all you have to do. It's very simple. In here, let me exit out of this. Yeah, I want to, so I don't fire anything. Let me get out of this. So yes, I know sometimes it doesn't disarm the greatest, but it's disabled at the, so sometimes I just have to kill the program and come back to it. So what's nice also is, so this is making good continuity. So let's say, you know, you have a bunch of people helping you out here and you barely get it in there and you miss one. So you go into your test and it shows that it's not found. So yeah, so you might come along here, everything's good, everything be blocked off, and then you'll have an open one. You're like, oh, I got an issue. So you can double check your spreadsheets, you know, saying, I know that I always fill a bank up. It's always filled up 1 through 12, so I just go through it, look at it, see if they're all filled up. I'm good to go. So it gives you a way to check, double check, to make sure everything's good with your continuity. The one thing, if you're wiring multiple Talons to the same queue, they recommend you to do them in parallel. So basically you just tie all of them together and shove them all. So you shove, you know, tie like 3 of them together, shove them in here, tie 3 of them the other side, and shove them in there. If one of them is bad, and it'll also show if this part up here is bad. But if you're doing them in parallel, if one of the 3 or 2 of the 3 are bad and one is good, it will still show that one as being good. So now if you would do them in series, so you have one wire here, you take this output, or sorry, you take your negative, and this will be your positive. You positive to a negative on another Talon, and then daisy chain them around back to this. Now if one of them or multiple of them are bad, that will show up as a broken chain. So series will show you if there's one bad, where parallel, if one of them is good, it'll show up as all of them are good. So series is better in that aspect of showing you if things are bad. I really haven't had an issue with that. I get mine from Cobra, my Talons from Cobra, and they've been great throughout the years, so I usually don't have a problem. One thing to note with the Pyro Musical, you'll want to get a cheap mixer. I've got this little Behringer. It's dirt cheap, but it works really well. What I do is, where's it at? Is I have my audio out. Oh, it's right there. So my headphones out right there. So I take a little 3.5 millimeter jack, plug it in there, and then
So that's my line in right here. So I put that as my 2-3 line in, and then I have my main outs. So I take these and go. Yeah, I take these and go to my line outs. So I have like a XLR plug. So for my right and left. So something like this. Plug it in right like that. And for the input, you know, I have my little 3.55 millimeter headphone jack, and it goes to something like this. You want to plug it right in. There is a certain one you want to look for. You can't just order up a generic one. You have to go with a special type, and I can't remember exactly what the difference is, but I know you can't just do it willy-nilly. So, but yeah, you want to take this XLR plug, one in for the right, one in for the left, and then back here I have my subs. I got the Thump 15s. They work really well. They're really loud. But then I come in here and plug it in right there. I forget what this plug type is called, but you plug it in right there. Looks a little something like that. So you'll plug it right on in there. And then, you know, I just pretty much set up it's kind of flat, and then do a lot of the gain and the main mix here, and just kind of work them around and crank them up or down based on how the music's going. But that's, for the most part, it. Yeah, so that's really what the inner workings of this Pyro Musical. Like I said, the Cobra system, when I was looking at it, was going to be $2,500, and then I was going to have to buy the speakers. I was going to have to buy the stands for the speakers. I bought a microphone and all that, and this is so much. Getting something like this and running it through the PC is so much easier and so much nicer and cleaner, I think, than going with the Cobra system. It's just simple, you know. You plug it in, you hit start, and boom, it's gone. So I couldn't even. I'm pretty sure with the audio box and all that, you know, it's just a tiny little speaker, and you plug a USB. Now you gotta do outs and stuff like that, and I didn't even know how I was going to do that with their system. So again, this is so much simpler, so much easier. It's one button click and done. It's gone. So hope you like this video. Drop a like on it or whatever. I usually try to answer the questions. So if somebody knows a better way of doing the Pyro Ignition Control, let me know. I'm always here to learn. This is how I do it. You know, there might be a better way to do it. So anyway, talk to you later, YouTube. See ya.